Hey, I am so excited that you made the decision to get emotional storytelling revealed. I know you're going to absolutely love it, but I want to share with you a quick story about my experience because when I first got into marketing and first got into sales, I had just dropped out of college. I went to the University of Iowa for one glorious semester, and I realized this isn't for me. I'm not wired to be here. I'm meant to do something else, do something different. And so I dropped out, and I was looking for something to do with my time and my energy and all my thoughts, and I was like, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur, this is gonna be great. And I remember all my friends and family telling me, hey, you should get a job, just kind of lay low until you know what you exactly want to do. And I was like, no, I have this sweet opportunity that a friend told me about. It's painting, exterior, painting houses. I was like, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. I'm gonna have employees. I'm going to have payroll. I'm gonna do all the finances. I'm gonna do all of this. I'm gonna be a real business owner. And I remember starting, and so quickly that dream of being an entrepreneur quickly became my worst nightmare. Because you see, what was happening is I was doing marketing and sales, and I would go up to the door and I would have my script rehearsed and in my mind and memorized, and I would be ready to go, and I would knock on the door, and regardless of who answered, regardless if it was a man or a woman, regardless if he or she was in her 60s or 70s or 80s, or if he or she was in her 30s or 20s, whatever it was, they would open the door and I would spill. I would say my script, right? I would say, hey, I'm in the neighborhood, helping your neighbors. We're doing some painting jobs just down the road. Is that something you're interested in? And it was the same thing. And they would either say yes, or they would say no. And if they said yes, I'd be like, great, can we talk some more? And then they'd say yeah. And so I would schedule a meeting, and I remember after scheduling a meeting, I remember one particular couple that I talked to, where I scheduled a meeting with them. I came to their house on the time. I was high energy. I was excited. I went through the script. I went through the offer. I went through the message and everything. I said, here's what we have to offer you. Here's all that we can do for you guys. Is that something that you're interested in? And they said, thank you for letting us know. We know for sure that we want our house painted. We actually have some other people coming, and we'll let you know in a week. I said, okay, I'll call you in a week and we'll figure that out, right? And I said, yeah, call us in a week, and we should be good to go. We like your offer. We like everything you have. We just want to check with a couple other people. And I remember a week rolled by. I was like, all right, I'm going to call these guys. So I picked up the phone. I called them. I said, hey, guys. I called them, and I got a voicemail, right? So I said, hey, guys, this is Michael. Just calling to let you know that we'd still love to work with you. Let me know if you have any questions. We'll talk to you soon. And then I hung up. I was like, that's kind of weird. They were super interested. They knew they wanted their house. They liked the offer. They liked everything. And I remember I called them again later that week. No answer. So I shot him a text. I was like, hey, this is Michael. Just wanted to see if you were interested still, what I could do, and that we could get rocking and rolling. Nothing. So I decided the next week I would just stop by their house, leave a note, leave something if they weren't home, just let them know. And when I drove to their house that next week, when I came up and I parked alongside the house, I looked, and there in their yard was the sign of a competitor's, and there against their house were ladders leaning, and my competitors were doing the work. And I remember just the defeat and the failure that I felt so vividly. Because this didn't just happen once. This happened time and time and time again. And it got to the point where I wasn't making any money in the business, and I was actually having to pay money out of my own pocket to keep the business afloat. I was pulling out of my personal savings to keep the business afloat. And what actually happened, I remember sitting down and thinking, okay, something's got to change. Something has got to change. And I remember looking back, and I asked myself, I was like, what was it about the customers who said yes? What was it about those conversations, the situation, that made them say yes. Because if I can just keep doing that, then I can just keep getting sales and the business will grow. And so I looked and I remember thinking, okay, what did I say differently? And I looked, I was like, I said the same message, it was the same script, it was the same offer, everything was the same. It's like, okay, it's not the sales message. How did I say it? And I looked and I was like, no, I was in a peak state every time. I was excited. I knew I was there to serve them, to get them to take action, to help them. It's like, okay, so what's the different factors? And I remember looking at the customer. I was like, okay, the only thing that changed was the customer. And I remember looking at the customer themselves and thinking to myself, okay, what was it about that customer? And I remember thinking through the first customer who ever said yes to me. And she was kind, she was playful, she was easygoing, she was very generous, very kind, she wanted to give back, very friendly, very open. I remember thinking, okay, yeah, of course that's an easy sell, right? And then I thought to my next customer. I was like, very, very family oriented, very, very kind, very just laughter, humor, easygoing. I was like, it's kind of similar to my first customer. And then I looked at my third customer, and my fourth customer, and my fifth customer. And I realized, oh my goodness, all of these people are looking very, very similar to each other. And then I remember taking a step back. I remember looking and being like, oh my goodness. Not only are all of my customers very similar to each other, but they're just a reflection of me. I'm that way. I'm easygoing. I'm friendly. I'm family oriented. I am generous. I want to give back. And I thought, the people who I didn't close the deals with, they were very detail oriented. They were very, what are the facts? They were very, I need to know exactly step by step the process. And I realized, I was like, I am attracting those who are like me and I'm communicating with them and it's easy, but then I'm repelling those who aren't like me. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, if I can just learn how to communicate to the people who have those values, who are not just easygoing, but who need the details, who need the step-by-step process, I can have so many more sales, I can help so many more people, I can have such a bigger impact. And it was at that moment where I was like, I'm committed to learning this. And so I searched all over the internet. I searched every blog, every video, everywhere. I looked for who is teaching personality marketing, who is teaching this. And I looked and I looked and I looked. And I remember blog post after blog post, video, trying all these different things, and none of it worked. None of it was sticking. So, there's little bits and parts here, but none of it was what I needed. Until I came across Tim. And Tim Van Mulligan's books and his courses, and I remember looking at this and being like, oh my goodness, this is exactly what I was looking for. And so after going through all of that, after seeing all those results, all of the impact that had, not just on me and my business, but that Tim was having on other people, I remember contacting Tim. And I remember saying, Tim, I've been using this in my marketing. I've been using this I'm transitioning into my digital marketing. I use this in my ads. I use this in my sales funnel. I use this in my content. I use this in my emails. I use this in every single piece of marketing. I said, I've seen the impact and the results this has had in my business, and I want to get this out to the world. And I contacted Tim. I said, Tim, can I help you market this to the world? That was 9 months ago. And now Tim and I are not just business partners, but we are co-hosts on our podcast. And more than that, we are close friends. And he's a mentor to me. And his level of integrity, and his level of honesty and commitment, not just to his family, but to his business and to his customers, is an example that I look up to. And so I'm so excited because Tim said yes. He said yes. And that's why I'm talking to you here today. That's why you're listening to me here today, is because Tim said yes to give us the opportunity to be able to go through his course, and for me to be able to add my expertise and infuse it with everything that I've learned and that I've learned and experienced with my digital marketing, as along with Tim's experience of 10, 15 years. And so I'm so excited to present to you guys personality marketing. This has been so much time and energy in the making. Scroll down below to get access today. I'm so excited. I will see you guys on the inside.